I'm going to basically give you a sneak peek into our cool trailblazing software called the Zcode Automated Sports Trader, which we actually released earlier last year. And it is the very latest in cutting edge sports betting technology, allowing people who are totally new to sports to legally make profits like we did. And our Sports Trader app is an application, a software that automatically generates sports predictions. And it allows you to bet on your favorite sports on complete autopilot without any need to manually analyze sports at all. So you can use it even if you've never placed a single bet in your life. And for those of you who are already trading or betting on sports, this will turn out to be an additional tool in your arsenal. Well, while you go out there and you want to make your usual bets. So our development team called ZLab has actually been hard at work over the past year to create and constantly improve the Sports Trader app. I can't even begin to talk about the number of improvements and developments that have gone into this application. It's just insane. Okay, so there's going to be we will talk about how we can help you to easily gain great profits from sports betting. And the best part is that you don't really need to know much about sports either. This app is especially great for newbies to sports betting as well as for the more experienced, like the advanced sports betting experts we have on board. And it has massive profit making potential as well. Let's take a look at the kind of profits you could have earned with our sports trader software. If you had consistently followed every sports pick that our software had selected for you from all of the sports and trends available, you could have earned $6.14 million over the past 3 years. And that's in millions, not hundreds of thousands. And if you're interested in shorter term profits, then here's what you could have earned by following our sports trader selections just over the past year alone. That's 2.635 million. So just think about it. What could you do if you had an extra $1 or $2 million in your bank account a year from now? All right. Here's the thing. It again at the end of the day, it also depends on your trading balance, basically your bankroll, and how much you're willing to risk. But even with conservative bet wagering and risking, these are the kind of amounts that you can reach if you use the sports trader to the full of its potential. And these numbers are actually also fully verified by our third-party monitoring services like BetDog and BetVerify, and we actually have links to those verified results on the sports trader page as well. Now let's talk about the software itself. So what is Zcode Sports Trader and what can it do for you? So let's imagine if you had a fully automated sports betting robot that has access to more than 200 plus winning systems inbuilt, okay, available at the click of a button. And each of these systems has several profitable trends that can be applied to multiple sports. And just so you know, basically each trend is like a subset. It's like a subset of a sports betting system that generates profitable picks based on specific settings that are applicable to not only that sport, but also the system that's developed for that sport. So, let's take, for example, we have tons of experts who send in their systems to us, and we develop their systems and their trends. And here's how it works when it comes down to Sports Trader. The main chunk of the Sports Trader app consists of our main Zcode systems, the automated systems. But along with that, you have plenty of other systems that were also developed by our own users, people who are experts in various sports and who've discovered their own trends, their own systems while betting. And we've actually helped them develop them into systems that could be incorporated into the app. So our app is not only driven by our very own systems, it's also driven by the community. So if you are a contributor in the community, and if you were be able to create a system of your own, sooner or later it can find its way into the app, and it'll make, even as an expert, it will make your approach to betting so much easier, right? You wouldn't have to worry about making sure that all the rules are checked. You wouldn't have to worry about making sure that those particular conditions have been satisfied. Everything's taken care of by the app. It is a total no-brainer. So yeah, and the so like I was saying, the robot selections are like totally fully automated. So you don't need to analyze anything yourself. All you're required to do is just click your mouse a few times, choose the sports and the trends that you prefer, and not only does the app calculate all the stats and probabilities for you, it also gives you the exact picks and selections you need to place to win, along with the precise unit sizes needed for those bets. So simply place the suggested bets at our recommended bookies, and that's all there is to it. That's like just 5 to 10 minutes per day. You don't have to sit down and analyze the system yourself. The app does it for you. It doesn't really get any easier than that. And besides being user-friendly, the software is also fully transparent, which means you can see the past performance of your chosen systems and trends anytime you want. All right, so let's just take a look at this list of systems. This is actually taken from our current top performing systems. Okay, and these systems are available not only within the Zcode members area, it's also available within the SportsTrader app. And like I said, this is what's so convenient about SportsTrader. It brings together all of these systems and packages it for you so conveniently. You don't really have to step out of the SportsTrader app at all. Everything you need is at the tip of your fingers. Okay, so let's take a look at these systems and these various columns that we have here, which basically reflect their recent performances. So first you have the name of the system and its corresponding trend, and usually it's also you'll have the name of the person who created that particular system. Then the ROI is basically your return on investment for that particular trend, which gives you an idea of how much profit you can earn based on the principal or your betting bank. Then you have the average deviation percentage, which is actually a measure of performance. So how it works is the lower the value, the better the system performance, and the smoother the graph. All right. So even the smoothness of a system's performance. If you take a look at a system's performance graph, the smoothness of the graph also indicates how often the system wins. Because let's say, for example, if you have a system that does point north, but you notice that it's highly jagged. Okay, what that means is you tend to have a lot of wins, but there are also plenty of losses in between as well. But it generally points northwards. If you were to have a graph that's smooth as it goes up, that means that it's more consistent in winning. So the average deviation gives you an indication of how reliable that system is. And then you have the trust percentage, which is actually more of a subjective factor. It's trust percentage that's built on a couple of parameters, as well as trust from within the community. So it also reflects how many other people are more likely to use this particular system. And of course, the last column, which I'm sure everyone loves, would be the profits that are obtained from the system. Now, in this particular case, when you take a look at the top systems, they normally indicate the profits that have been earned by each system over the past 3 months, assuming that you are trading at $100 per unit, because that's the standard stake size that we use not only in our analysis but also on our own accounts. So besides all the benefits we mentioned, you can even develop your own systems, and this is especially useful if you're an expert in the sports of your preference. And if you're the type who's inclined to create your own betting trends based on statistics alone, this is another one of those features that's available within the app itself that will allow you to submit your own system so that our development team can do it for you. And if it turns out to be a viable system, it will actually be added into the app, which makes it easy for you as a user and even others who would want to be able to benefit from your system. So in a way, it's also a way by which other people will get to know of you and the work that you've put into your own systems. All right, so okay, great. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run you through the software itself, and talk about a lot of its features that have been included into the app to make things very easy for you as a sports bettor or sports trader. All right, now as soon as you log in to the software, and remember this same interface that you're seeing right now is also going to be available inside of your Zcode members area. All right, it'll look exactly the same. There's no difference at all. And the great thing about the sports trader is that you can even access the Zcode VIP picks and wall from within the app itself. So you guys see the tabs here at the top. This allows you direct access to the VIP picks area, the wall, the VIP forum, everything, just like as if you were inside the Zcode members area itself. All right. As long as you have an active subscription with Zcode and you've signed up for Sports Trader, you will have access to all of these tabs. All right. So at first glance, what you'll notice is that our Sports Trader software is divided into 4 selector sections. On the left, you have this stuff here. You have these sports selectors, the system selector, and the trend selector. Okay. And here on the right-hand side are the profit charts, and this basically shows you, the performance chart for all the systems that have been selected. Let me just go ahead and show you what it's like if I were to just simply, just clear the slate, start from like a clean blank slate, and just show you what it's like. All right. So on the left-hand side, you have the profit chart that shows you the results over the past 3 years, and you can even change the time frames over here. It'll show you the total profit. So you have this figure, which is what we quoted to you earlier. This is over a period of 3 years following every single one of the picks that our Sports Trader app generates for you. Okay, and on the right-hand side, here you have what their profits would look like over 1 year. You're not limited to just 1 year. You can even go and shift to 3 months and see what it looks like. So I click 3 months here, and this is what it looks like. All right. So assuming you're trading at $100 per unit, this is what your profits would have been over the past 3 months alone. And even if you don't have that much to trade with, let's say you're banking a relatively smaller amount and you stake only $10 per unit. Even at only $10 per unit, okay, that's like you notice this is 670,000. That's almost 671,000. Okay, divide that by 10, and that's what you would have earned over 3 months alone. And this is just from the default blank portfolio that you get as soon as you log into the Sports Trader app. All right. Coming back to this, so we have these selector sections over here, and depending on the selections that you click, right, the profit graph on the right-hand side will update itself to show you the combined past performance of all your selected systems. Now, for the sake of comparison, you have the first graph, which will show you what it was like over a longer period of time. All right. Now, remember what I was saying. Even if you don't have a large bankroll, okay, even if you don't have $2,000 to spare at the moment, no worries. We have a handy little portfolio advisor tool, okay, and I will show you how that works once we get into the selections itself. All right. And what the portfolio advisor section will help you to do is to select the best unit size based on your available bank, while keeping in mind all of the systems and trends that you've selected. Now, before we jump into the actual selections, what I want to just remind you guys about is, if you haven't signed up, right? If you haven't already begun trading or betting, then it's very important that you open your bookie account with one of our recommended bookmakers. Okay, so if you can go ahead and easily just click this link and it'll take you to the bookies page. That's the same thing as, clicking over here. If I click bookies here, it's the same thing. You'll get this page, which gives you a list of our recommended bookies, and it gives you details about each of the bookmakers here. All right, so take the time to go through it based on whichever country you are. Like, say for example, with Bet365 or Pinnacle Sports are great for non-US members, while Five Dimes and Bookmaker.eu, they're great for the US members. So you can click these links, create your accounts if you don't have one yet, and it's always good to have at least 2 or 3 accounts at any of these bookies. The more accounts you have, what'll happen is it gives you more of a choice in terms of better odd prices. So you might notice that one bookie has better prices than the other, and that's how it turns out to be useful. So once you have your bookie accounts up and running, then just come back here. We'll switch back to the SportsTutor app, and we're going to take a look at the main selector sections which I mentioned earlier. Now, the first box on the left-hand side, the sports selector, allows you to choose the sports that you prefer. All right, and if you're not particularly interested in any specific sport, or if you'd like to be able to gain maximum profits from all the available sports, then just click this checkbox over here. By just clicking this one, it selects all of the sports for you. All right. And a very nice feature that our development team added in here is the portfolio savings section. You see this drop down along with these options at the side. So what this allows you to do is, let's say for example, with one of your portfolios, you don't mind having all of the sports, and you don't mind adding all of the systems and trends under those sports. Okay, and let's say you want to have another portfolio where you're focusing only on, say for example, American football, the NFL, only that. So you can create separate portfolios for these different sports or different systems and trends or combinations of them, right? And then save them separately. And then this allows you to load them up very conveniently later on whenever you want. Okay? So it allows you to just create different portfolios for yourself, either through your own manual selections or also by using the portfolio advisor, which I'll show you later. All right, for now, let's just focus just on a couple of sports. Say, for example, okay, let's see. I'll leave American football there. Esports might be interesting. I'll leave that in there. Rugby. Okay, and you'll notice a couple of sports are off season. So these are not available. There's no point in checking them in any case. So, and you notice as I uncheck them, the systems selection box, gradually just kind of decreases in size because it means the systems that were created for those sports have been removed from the list temporarily. All right. Let's say I don't want to deal with Aussie rules. I don't want basketball. Let's just keep, let's just keep these sports for now. All right. Now, under these sports, you have a wide range of systems that have been developed not only by our team but also by our users, by our experts, and they've added, they've contributed their systems to our community, and our development team has actually codified and programmed these systems based on the rules that they've created. So this entire list of systems that you see under the system selector are available for these sports. Okay. Now let's say I want to maximize my profit across all these sports. So I'm going to check this, and that immediately selects everything, all the systems under these particular sports. All right. And remember I was telling you that the SportsTutor is very transparent in the sense that it shows you all the details that you need to know about each and every one of these systems. And you notice this little gear icon on the right hand side. If you click the gear, okay, it shows you details about that particular system. So you have details about the system, its past performance, the performance over the past 3 months, okay, the last 30 days graph, the last 7 days, the last week, and by month, by day of week. I mean, the kind of stats that are available to you at the tip of your fingers just by clicking on that gear icon is insane, right? You will not get this kind of detail anywhere else. And it's available for each and every one of those systems, okay? So once you're done selecting the systems, you come down to the trend selector. Now, like I mentioned earlier, a trend is like a subset. It's like a subset of rules for a particular system. Now, you might have a system with, let's say, 4 conditions, okay? And for most of the trends that have been created for that particular system, those 4 rules happen to be the 4 common rules that need to be satisfied no matter which trend it is. And then it becomes specific. So with each of those trends, you can have more rules added, okay, which makes those trends highly specific in terms of the kind of profits that they can generate from the trends that have been observed on these sports. All right. Now, the great thing about the trend selector is that it allows you to filter out the trends that are available to you, either based on whether they're active right now or the most profitable and stable. Okay, and what this means when we say active only, what it means is that it'll only show you the trends which are available to you right now, which are currently active. Meaning to say, some of the other trends on the list would naturally drop off because some of those sports are not available. Okay, then it might be out of season, whatever it is. Or for some reason, that particular system may have been abandoned by its user. It doesn't matter. That tends to happen sometimes. But the ones which are the top performing and active only will be shown in this list. All right. Now, if I uncheck this and check only the most profitable and stable, this one's self-explanatory. I don't really have to explain it. It just simply means all the trends under these systems which are the most profitable and stable, meaning to say it's also consistent. All right, and you'll notice that we have a whole list of these guys over here. These are the trends available under these systems for these sports. All right, I hope you guys have got this much so far. Yeah. All right, and you can even combine these 2 filters. You can add the both of them together, which means that you can have highly active and the most profitable trends only. All right. Now, along with these filters, you also have the types of systems that you can have, which is, it's based on whether the system uses flat or fixed stakes, or if it's a system that uses progressive staking, such as our ABC systems. I'm just going to use all systems because that allows me to maximize my profit. And then this drop down, the second one, allows us to sort the list of trends based on the profit method. Now, the kinds of profit methods that are available to you are pretty cool. So you have the top total profit so far, okay? Then you have top profit over the past 3 months only, then the best return on investment, the best profit chart, and the best trust factor. So for now, what I'll do is I'm going to leave it on the top profit over the past 3 months, okay? Because that's also a good indication of whether these trends are generating profits in the short term. If you're the kind of person who likes to look at sports from a longer term perspective, then you can take a look at the top total profit, and also best ROI. That's entirely up to you. So these filters or these options, it makes it so much easier for you to just choose only the kinds of the systems that you want, the systems and the trends that are most profitable. Okay. So now that I have these trends filtered out, and I'm happy with happy with this list, I want to select this, and that automatically selects all of the trends that satisfy all of these conditions. That means it's active only, the most profitable, and it's based on the top total profit. And as soon as I do that, you'll immediately notice that there are these active signals on the right-hand side. And all of these signals here, okay, these signals were generated by these trends and systems on the left-hand side, which we selected. For now, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a lot of MLB, which is okay, that's cool. All right, you have active signals here, and if there are signals that have already, they're already over, in the sense that the match is already over, then they'll be moved into the past signals, and you'll see all of that listed here. Okay, that's for the day. We have quite a bit of tennis on the right-hand side. All right, so now that I've given you a basic overview of how it is, how to use the selectors to create your own combination of sports systems along with trends. The next best thing to do is you've obviously put a lot of work into selecting all of this stuff, and you'd want to be able to use it easily later on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this, okay, and just simply call it my selections or my trends. Let's say I'll call it my favorite trends, okay? Yeah. And hit enter and just save that. Click the save icon. All right. And as soon as you do that, once it's saved up all of the data associated with these trends and selections, it'll become available to you as a drop-down within this drop-down list. Yeah, you see this? Now I was testing out the software again and just checking this out, adding some trends of my own. So I created these ones over here. The default portfolio is what we saw at the beginning, and my fave trends is what I just created. So this makes it very easy for you guys to load up any combination of system selections and trend selections that you like. All right, everyone clear with this so far? Okay, coming back to this. Now that we've taken a look at all the selector sections, the most important thing, especially if you're a newbie, okay? If you are a newbie to sports betting, the most important thing to remember is that you have to manage your risk appropriately based on the size of your bankroll. And that's where the Portfolio Advisor tool comes in. Can you guys see this section here towards the bottom? Let me just scroll down a bit. You see this, the Portfolio Advisor section here? All right. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to adjust the unit sizes based on how much you're willing to risk. Now, if you're the kind of person who doesn't have $100 to spare per bet, what you can do is just very directly, just here, go ahead and modify the value, and it immediately recalculates the bankroll required for all of. Remember, this is the bankroll required for all of these trends. You don't need to select all of them, okay? And that's like a huge list, which is why the bankroll might look like it's massive at this point. But if I were to uncheck, say, half of this list, then this bankroll will drop down. Again, let's say I'm the kind of person who can only stake $2 per bet. So you have to be able to cover all of these active signals, but we will show you another way by which you can use the Portfolio Advisor to shape or create your own fine-tuned portfolio. And that will be based on not just the size of your bank. It'll also be based on how you are as a person. What's your kind of risk appetite when you're betting. So we'll get into that as well. Now, like I said, to get started, the simplified tool which I just showed you, that's the one that allows you to do quick calculations based on the initial value of your preferred unit size. And so, okay, there's another way to do this. You don't have to do it only based on unit size. If you, let's say, for example, you say that you have only $1,000 for your bankroll, and it'll immediately go ahead and recalculate the unit size for you. All right. Now, to appreciate the full power of the Portfolio Advisor, the best thing to do is to just click this button, the Portfolio Advisor button, and that will launch the Portfolio Advisor in full. Okay. You'll be required to go through a few questions at first so that the Portfolio Advisor can recommend the best settings and combination of system trends, based on your preferences. So let's just quickly run through these questions we have here, and we'll go through the available options one by one. So the first one it says is, which sports do you follow? Okay, now if you're like me, the sports maybe doesn't matter to you at all. All you really care about is the profit. So just select this, and you don't really have to worry about having to manually select the sports at all. One thing I do want to make clear is that once you start modifying these settings inside of the Portfolio Advisor, you'll be given the choice to apply this portfolio which the system generates for you, and then it'll apply it to the selection boxes on the left-hand side, which I demonstrated to you earlier. All right, so the reason I'm saying that is because once you use the Portfolio Advisor, it may overwrite the settings that you already have on the left-hand side. So make sure you save your settings before you come into the Portfolio Advisor. Okay? I hope that's clear to everyone. So, like I said, coming back to this one, if you don't care about the sports, then just select this one. Or if you're the type who does care about what sports you bet on, then let's take a look. You can select each of these sports individually. Okay? So I can do all of that. Whatever, choose whatever you like. And using this combination, we'll move on to the next question, which is, that basically reflects your profit expectations and your risk tolerance. So what kind of a bettor are you? Are you a conservative bettor? You're the kind of person who doesn't like to risk much. If that's the case, then you choose conservative. If you're the kind who wants more profits and can take some risk, then use standard. And if you're the type who loves betting fast and also with high risk, then choose aggressive. But just remember, if you choose aggressive, you're very likely to have more trends and more trend selections. Okay, so also remember that you need to have a bankroll size that's big enough to handle that many bets. Okay, so please keep that in mind. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch this to standard. Now, next thing will be about the frequency of bets. How often do you bet? Let's say, if you're a person who's very busy and you only like to bet on sports once in a while, then you choose minimum. If you're a person who, can manage to place, a decent number of bets during the day, outside of your day job, so, that's cool. You can just choose regular. Or if you're the type who is, again, this correlates with being aggressive. If you're the type who loves to bet as much as possible and make more profits as fast as possible, then choose maximum. Okay. So I'm just playing around with these selections just to show you how this stuff works, guys. And then we'll see how the Portfolio Advisor creates the portfolio for you. Last one is the timing of the picks. How flexible are you? You can say I'm very flexible, meaning it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. I can even if Sports Trader were to give you a selection in the middle of the night, you'll jump out of bed and make that bet and then go back to sleep again. So if you're the kind and you don't care about the time, then just click I'm very flexible. Or if you're okay with certain timings and you don't want it to be too frequent, you choose the second one. Third is if you are very busy and you would only like to follow systems that give bets at least 1 hour before the game starts. So in other words, you need to have a little bit of a heads up before you can place your bets. I'm choosing to go with the middle one. Okay, I'm okay with any timing, but I need to have at least some signal or heads up at least 30 minutes before the game starts, and that's a decent amount of time. Okay, so let's see what happens if I use these selections, these conditions, and then ask the Portfolio Advisor to create a portfolio for me based on these selections. Okay, so it's gone ahead and recalculated everything, and I see Rasputin's system right at the top. We got Mikhail's soccer system, all these systems. Okay, and the great thing about the Portfolio Advisor, again, it goes ahead and it recalculates everything for you based on the unit size that you want. So go ahead and modify this, and it'll show you. You notice now how this is a much more reasonable bankroll size. Okay, $135 is something that you can definitely use even at that unit size. Now for the actual profit, what will happen is there are two ways by which you can take a look at what the projected profit can be like, you hover over the right-hand side over here, and it shows you what this profit could have been over the past 3 months. Otherwise, the simplest thing to do is just click Apply Portfolio at the bottom. And as soon as you do this, the portfolio advisor will apply all of these rules and conditions to the system selectors on the left-hand side. In other words, it'll readjust everything on the left. It'll readjust the sports you selected, the systems, everything, so that it reflects and meets the conditions that have been given to you, that you gave, rather. So you see how the graph has immediately changed on the right-hand side, how all of these sports have changed based on what I selected there. And then I have the system selectors. These are the systems that are recommended for those particular sports. And only the ones which are active and most profitable will show up here. Okay? So this is pretty cool. Now, for this particular system, if it doesn't generate any, like signals, active signals currently, you'll notice that all of it is in the past signals. So that means right now it doesn't have any active signals, but you will notice that this section comes up and it tells you that it is looking for signals from the systems and trends that were selected, and that these are the next possible games which will be starting soon. So it will be best for you to check back later to see if there are active signals at least half an hour before these game start times. Okay. Now, I like to add more sports just for the fun of it. So let me show you what I did with one of these selections. I saved the active and most profitable. This I have separately. Just give it some time, because you have to remember the system is sieving through more than 200 plus systems and trends, and it collects all of those. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but can you see the SportsRadar message showing that there's a new signal available? And immediately you have an active signals tab over here which shows up, right? So this active signal, these are the active signals that are generated by the systems on the left-hand side here. All right. Oh yeah, another thing I forgot to mention earlier was that after you're done applying the portfolio that was created for you by the portfolio advisor, you might want to save that so you can again come back to that later on. So I should have done that actually. I forgot to show that to you. But once you're done with the portfolio advisor and you apply it, you come back here, you save the portfolio separately, and then this portfolio after you click portfolio apply. All right. Once you've applied that, you can save that separately and call it whatever you like, so that it becomes available to you as a drop-down. All right, guys. So, well, now, like I said, now that all that's taken care of, the only thing left for you to do is to check for active signals before the start of the games. In fact, as long as you have the software open, you'll even receive real-time notifications in the tray next to the app icon, which is what I was trying to show you. And you'll notice that we have an active signals tab here and the past signals, which I have explained to you earlier. And if there are any upcoming matches, then it'll show up above this section and it'll tell you that these are the next upcoming matches that you have to watch out for. Okay. Let me show you this is the active signals. This is what the past signals look like. Right? Quite a lot of them, just in a day alone. All right, so coming back to the active signals tab. Now, each of these signals tells you the system and trend that generated this signal. So this is the Eddie's system. That's his system and the trend specifically for esports. All right, and then you have, it shows you the team or the player that you have to bet on, the type of bet, the odds, the unit size. Now, see, if this is the unit size, then the amount that you will bet on is obviously your stake size multiplied by the unit. All right, so over here, coming back to this, let's see. Here, we have 100. I'm changing that to 10. Okay, and as soon as I do that, you notice that the bet amounts have changed. So you have $35 for 3.5 units, which is exactly what it should be. All right. And yeah, so this is the best way for you to be able to, keep track of the signals that are generated for you by the sports trader. And the best part is once you take this signal and you switch to your bookie, let's say for example it's Bet365 or it's 5 dimes, and you place your bet there, then you can come back here and then check this checkbox, and immediately that particular bet or signal gets grayed out, which means that you've placed it already, so you won't get confused and you won't have to place that particular bet again. And so it's just an easier way for you to remember that you already placed that bet. Now, like we constantly emphasize, Sports Trader is a complete no-brainer, and its selections are fully automated, so nothing to analyze or calculate. Plus, it gives you signals that are specifically tailored to your bankroll size. Of course, no system is a crystal ball, and you will have some bumps and losing trades along the way as well. But if you follow each and every system consistently, then at the end of the day, you will start to see solid results. And your personal bankroll will reflect the kind of performance graphs that we have as well. All right, so let me just switch